Okay, welcome. You missed a very fun class today. We did a little mini casino and talked about fair odds and betting. And so the first thing we talked about was just what's a fair bet. And so a fair bet, kind of a classic example, you're flipping a coin and you're betting $1 on hitting tails. And if you win, you get $1. And if you lose, you pay $1. And so effectively you're receiving $2 after the bet is made. You get the $1 plus the one that you bet. So these are often called one-to-one odds. And this is sometimes a little confusing because it depends on whether did I actually have to put my bet in the middle or not. If I put the bet in the middle, I get $2 back, one of which is my dollar that I started with. But if I don't actually have to put that up first, I'm really only winning $1. So how you talk about winning here gets a little confusing sometimes because I won $2. No, you didn't. You actually won $1 because you were betting $1. You just got your dollar back, unless you never had to put it in the to begin with, in which case, you won $1 and then you also got your bet or your risk back. And this is often wins and bets are often called returns and risks. So in this spinner we've got over here, yellow, a fair bet would be one-to-one odds because you'd expect to hit it half the time. And if you bet $1, you'd expect to get $1 back. And if you lost, you'd expect to pay the $1. So you'd win and lose and win and lose and win and lose. And over a long period of time, you wouldn't win any money if you played long enough. If you played a short amount of time, maybe you'd be up a couple of dollars or maybe you'd be down a couple of dollars. But in general, if this is a fair spinner, then you'd expect to not really make or lose any money. That's what a fair bet is. So the question is, what's a fair bet for the blue section? If this is 25%, how much should I win for risking $1? And it should be more than one-to-one because I'm not going to hit it every other time. So think about that for a second and come up with an idea of how much do you think you should win for risking $1. Well, you got three choices here. I'm going to say 5-to-1, 4-to-1, actually it'll give you one, 3-to-1, and 2-to-1. Now any of those seem reasonable because, oh, okay, I'm going to win more than I'm betting because I'm taking more of a risk here. But 2-to-1 is not quite fair. 4 or 5-to-1, you're actually, if you could get these odds, you should take them because you're actually making money on that. The way this works out here is, if you think about it, if I asked you if you're going to spin this 4 times, how many times would you expect to land on blue? Most people answer, well, once. Expect, maybe there once, maybe there once, maybe there once, maybe there once. So 1 times out of 4, which means you're actually losing 3 times out of 4. So, let's say it worked out perfectly. You spun it, you lost. You spun it again, you lost. You spun it again, you lost. The 4th time, magically, probability kicks in, and you win on the 4th try. So you need to win those 3 losses back. So your odds are 3-to-1. So you get $3 plus 1, and once again, depending on how you kind of bet, if you had to give somebody the $1 to start with, you'd actually get $4 back. But that's because you're getting your bet back. That's where this becomes a little confusing sometimes. But 3-to-1 odds because there's a 25% chance there. But the other 3 times when you don't win, you have to make that money back for it to be fair. All right, so with this idea of what a fair bet is, we then went into my little casino here, which looks like this. And these are some people left over from 6th period. And if we look at blue, like we can see that that's, that little piece that's cut off right there, that if I made that a half circle, then 1-to-1 would be fair odds there. And this is not quite 25%, so the 3-to-1 odds, which would be correct for 25%, are a little bit low. So kind of cheating you a little bit. Now casinos do this and they publish the odds, so technically they're not cheating because you should know you're not getting paid fairly, but kind of feels like cheating. So the question is, these are the other odds, and let's just talk for a second about like what were good odds here. Cyan paid 8-to-1. That seems pretty good, 8-to-1, but it's only 10% of the circle. What would actually be fair there? Well, paying 10%, that's 10 out of 100 or 1 out of 10. Or another way to think about it is, I'm going to lose 9 times for every how many? Yeah, for every 1 that I win. So that 10th time, when hopefully when I finally win for betting on Cyan, I need to make my money back. So ideally, in an ideal world, after 9 losses, or 9 losses somewhere, I need to get that back. Now that may not happen in 10 spins. I may have to do 1,000 spins before that ratio works out, but that would be fair. So Cyan is, okay, but it's not fair. 5%, the line. A lot of people bet on this because it's fun to bet on that because big winnings, but hardly anybody ever hit. What's fair there? 16 to 1 seems pretty good. Well, that's 5 out of 100 is my winnings, or 95 out of 100 is how often I'm going to lose. Or another way to think about that is 19 out of 20 times is I'm going to lose. So for the 19 spins I lose, I need to make that back on that 20th spin where I win. So those are 19 to 1 odds. So not fair. Okay. The 8%, I just like to point this out because it's a little bit harder. So this is like I'm going to win 92. I'm going to lose. I'm going to win 8 out of 100 times. Or another way to think about it is I'm going to, 92 times out of 100, I'm going to win. I'm going to lose. But so the other 8 times I have to make up for those $92. So this is another way to write that. 92 out of 8. 8 times I win, I got to win the $92 back. If I divide both those by 8, it comes out 11.5 to 1, which is fine. That is a valid equivalent form of that. People who make odds, which are casinos and racetracks, don't like writing them that way. They don't like using the decimal. So what could I do to that to make a valid proportion that doesn't have the decimal? That's right, we double it. So we get 23 to 2. So those are the odds you would probably see posted. It does not mean you have to bet $2. It means if you bet $2, you would win 23 back. Bet 1, you'd win 11.5 back. But that's a little unusual because it doesn't work out as neatly as the others. I did one other thing. Is there is a where is it? There's kind of an ideal. We'll say we had an ideal 100 spins. Spun 100 times. If it actually worked out the way this thing was broken up, it was 45% blue. We'd expect $45 of winnings because it was paying 1 to 1. But then the other 55 times I lost my dollar, so I lost 55. For yellow, which was paying 3 to 1, I'd win 23 times because it was 23% of the circle. It was paying 3 to 1, so I'd win $69. But then the other 77 times I lost. Cyan, kind of same thing. I'd expect to win 10 out of 100, so I'd win 80 because it was paying 8 to 1. But then I lost 90 on the other 90 spins. Red, 81, purple, 80, lime. Lime looks great when you win. 5 times 16 is 80, but then I've lost $95 on my other 95 bets if I'm betting the same color every time over 100. So none of these are fair. This is why if it works out ideally, and it eventually will for the casino, because they're dealing in what's called the law of large numbers, they will eventually get the spins such that they're close to what the averages are supposed to be. The question is, which one of these things looks maybe the fairest? Because none of them are fair, but one's a little closer to fair. And usually after looking at this, people notice that, oh, that's I only lose $8 on that, whereas all the others I lose about 10. And in fact, this green down here is the worst. I lose $15, assuming it plays out the way it should. Now, if you win 6, you've suddenly won money. You've won $1 over 100 spins. But anyway, that's the way casinos made money. I've gone a little bit long here. I'm going to leave you with, this is an American roulette wheel. There are 38 spots there. What are fair odds, do you think? And then what does it actually pay out? And you can do that research on the internet. Good luck.